Do we look pretty? Please tell us. Do we
on the chat? Chad, hey,
pretty?
tell us. Do we look pretty?
Do we look pretty?
Especially me.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first 30 here on the Funky Panther. It is 8 o'clock on July 23rd. It is a Tuesday. And we have got...
Tuesday. Was it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
We've got Jason Keenan with us. What's up, man?
What's up?
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
As always, the first 30 is just going to be us catching up, talking shit, a little bit of whatever, and then we'll get into the real here in about half an hour. So if you have questions or if you are already here, not here yet, join us in the chat. Let us know what you're up to. And that's it. That's how we're going to start this.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
All right, thanks everybody for joining, and that is the show.
Yeah, I think
Easy
that's good
rules.
enough.
I like it.
So, Tim, start us off. What have you been up to this past week, my dude?
Man, well, you know, the stuff.
Yeah.
But also, nothing that I have really done this past week, but I do have something coming up on Wednesday.
You're a liar.
You are a liar.
You're a liar. You went to a show with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah,
went to
yeah, yeah.
brunch on Sunday.
That is true. Okay.
I've seen you
We went
more
to
the
a-
past
we went
week
to a
than I
metal
usually
show.
do.
That's right. We went to see Tammy's cousin perform at the Haltom Theater.
Yeah. Shout out to Micah. It's a good show.
What is it? Valamora.
Valamora.
Yeah, Valamora. Kind of just a metalcore band out of Austin, Texas. They were solid. I enjoyed them. Band that went on before them. I'm trying to remember what that name is.
I think it was Lincoln Park.
Yeah, no. Let me ask you a question real
Without
quick.
Chester.
Do you ever you start going to so many shows that you lose track of like who you saw?
I don't even remember some of the bands I played
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
So okay.
I'm at that point of life right now. I'm like,
Not just
I
watched,
was
but been
there?
in.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad now.
You're just
Yeah,
like
no.
What's that, robot or autopilot? You're just like,
Yeah.
dee.
I did
You're
that,
fucking
and
big.
What does he play the banjo? Do you play the banjo?
No, thank God.
That's what
I
it
played
sounded
the
like.
washboard, asshole.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Not the banjo.
That's for
That's
losers.
just normal.
you no, I went to we went to that Haltom Theater, which is it's a fun venue.
It's a fun little venue.
Yeah, it's a fun little venue. I'm glad that
Was it in the front room or the main
it was in
room?
the front room. Yeah.
I like the front room.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a small, intimate setting, and if you've got a good crowd, man, it can get kind of rowdy in there and have a good time. This didn't get too rowdy though.
No,
you
this-
got he frolicked like a prince.
I was
In
like
a-
skipping.
in a meadow, yeah.
I jumped in a little
They had a little four-person pit going.
four-lady mosh pit.
And then you.
and
And then me.
Yeah.
Well,
And I was-
is it because the long hair?
He took his hair down, actually.
Really?
I did.
So
I
they
did take my hair
couldn't tell.
down. No. They're like, that bearded lady looks fantastic. And one of them stepped on my ankle and it hurt the next day. I think it got a little swollen.
That happens sometimes.
Old man. So,
Yeah, it was good. The front room's good. I like I've gone to a couple shows there now and been in the main area, and it has that feel of. You remember Ridgely Theater?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the Ridgely, the old.
Yeah.
I used to love going to shows there, and then they changed owners, and it's gotten kind of weird. And so a lot of the people in the metal community have stopped. They won't even play. They won't even allow metal
Are
bands.
you a part of the metal community?
I am.
So you would consider yourself metal community
Yeah,
people?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They won't let bands play there anymore. They won't let them because they get too rowdy.
Oh, I see.
And so now we've got and that's kind of part of it.
So
is-
it's not so much the metal community is against Ridgely. Ridgely's against the metal community.
Yeah, Ridgely's against the metal
Okay,
community,
I got
which
you.
then is in turn,
Which is also you.
which then has in
It's
turn
like
made
you
them
versus Ridgely.
Yes.
Okay.
It's in turn made the metal community against
Confusing,
Ridgely
kinda.
too. So, anyways, Haltom Theater reminds me of like old school Ridgely, where it's kind of there
When
are
Richard and Wesley ran it.
who?
When Richard and Wesley.
Oh yeah,
ran
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. So it reminds me of that back whenever it was fun. Not so fun anymore. The guy that owns it now is the one that owns the gas pipe, who also got in trouble for making fake K2
I remember
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
I think they still own it. But anyways, so did that. Good time.
Nice.
If you see a show ever at the Haltom Theater, you should just it's quick from here. It's like 15 minutes.
They do a lot of shows there, right?
And
Like
they-
a lot of
they
like
do a lot.
old school people that coming back and doing like I think Paul Walls, perform there and like
they do some older like they've got some bands that are kind of like re-emerging, but they also have a lot of local stuff that plays there, and then they do different events. I feel like they've had wrestling there at one point.
They have wrestling there probably once a month.
Yeah. So I mean, they host a wide range of events, and it's like I said, it's a cool venue. Support
I'd like
the
to
venue.
check it out.
Yeah.
I've never been to a
But Wednesday, so which would be tomorrow.
yeah.
One of my friends hit me up and he was like, "Hey, my wife bailed. I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go see the Aquabats?" So I'm going to go see the Aquabats tomorrow.
Do you know who they are?
I might have been busy.
Do you know who they are?
Aquabats?
I'm
like,
actually,
oh.
they're just a kind of a goofy ska band
Oh.
from Los
Like
Angeles.
Aqua Teen
yeah.
Hunger
Yeah.
Force type situation. They got Shake Zulu in the bitch.
No, but they're just goofy.
Ooh, I wouldn't even put those two.
No. I want to put them together.
Okay.
But I'm going to go see that. I'm actually kind of pumped. I've heard they put on a fun show. It was a
Okay.
free ticket. I'm going to go.
Nice.
It'll
Very
be
cool.
exciting.
It'll be exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know who they are?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I'm the fool.
I mean, they're probably. I mean, they all wear masks. They may be on like the 15th iteration, or they're all original members. Who knows?
Yeah, and they wear like
Let's play
scuba
some
suits. They wear
Aquabats.
like scuba suits and masks and
Were they
stuff.
on?
and
Were they on like Yo Gabba Gabba? Maybe.
they might have been.
Maybe it kind of
Yeah.
seems like that would have been like.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, how much of this is true? Is
No,
all
no,
of
no,
this
no.
true?
Yeah. Like
That's
it's all
all
true.
true.
Yeah.
that's all
Wow.
true.
They're just kind of a goofy band.
Cool.
But yeah, so I got an invite. If you invite me out to a show, I'm probably not going to turn it down unless I got stuff going on.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that does look like some kind of like kids
Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah.
That's probably green screen. They just dance around. With
Yeah.
You think that, you mean there's just not real like an explosion or lava or whatever that is behind them?
Maybe it is.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they
Yeah.
do look pretty super.
There's really
I
no
think
way
it,
of knowing.
I think it probably is. They're probably at a volcano right there. Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Cool.
Pretty sick.
But that's about a brunch had a little,
Been a while since we've been to Oscar's Pub. That was a cool.
yeah, forgot they had all you can eat, and we didn't know they had all you can eat, and then they do have all you can eat, and so
Well, they don't advertise all you can eat until you and Javier and Jesus eat all you can eat, and then they're like, you know what? Let's just put you on the
all you-
unlimited plan because you're going a little over your budget there, bro.
like 2 waffles in and a chilaquiles, and I'm like, he's like, you're gonna have to make you all you can eat. I'm like, okay, let's do that.
But $5 mimosa carafes, like that's bomb. It was so
Yeah.
good. And then y'all's
$4 Bloody Mary.
Yeah, that was a pretty good deal. How were they?
They're good.
Yeah.
Just tastes like a Bloody Mary.
And the beers were $2 or $3. Like I miss Oscar's Pub. I don't go nearly enough.
Yeah, inflation, man. I don't have the money to do it all the time.
Yeah, I don't really go out hardly. Since Jesus and Crystal have been in town, I realized that I drank a lot more than I have been previously. Our friends came into town.
Okay.
They moved to Egypt for 3 years, and they came back for the past 6 months. And as of today, they're on to their next venture in China. So they've been in town for a short amount of time. But during that time, I feel like just drank a lot more than I.
Made up for lost time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And so even this weekend was just a binge weekend because of mostly because of them. I blame them.
Are you a brunch man, Jason?
Ooh, I mean, I like to eat, and midday is usually pretty good for me, so I can get down to some brunch. Yeah. Maybe when I was younger and less refined, my wife would be like, let's go have brunch. And I'm like, I don't do brunch. But now I'm like, yes.
Like, you know what? I like mimosas. I like orange juice and champagne.
I like breakfast foods.
I love breakfast
Yeah,
foods.
What is your go-to brunch? Do you have a spot, or do you have like foods that you like?
No.
No, he doesn't have foods that he likes.
Yeah, I mean, look at me. I'm a monster. Of course this motherfucker eats. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I would say that, I wouldn't say I have a refined palate, but I would say, like, I eat some stuff. But I'm pretty basic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty,
It's like Waffle House.
Oh, like, let's go. I mean, I would do Waffle House. I mean,
I think we had this conversation last time.
my last Waffle House experience was, like, in Memphis.
Ooh.
It just, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like that kind of Waffle House experience.
Weird fights in the background.
Just, chicken sitting in this like famous story in our family, like we're sitting there, we're fucking tired and all these people are going mad and there's like chicken sitting on the grill and then they move the chicken, he just moves it with his hand and puts it where the dish rags are. And then they're frying up some stuff and then that chicken goes back on, then they're cooking and then all the food comes out and I'm just like, if you see me like staring off, like sometimes I forget I'm not watching TV. Like, especially like my wife's like, "Hey, it's not TV. It's not TV." It's like a common thing too. I'm like, "Oh yes, hello. I'm not just
a
observing
little
you."
lost.
Yeah. So then I just watched all the food come out, and I'm like, "Oh my god, everything was on raw chicken."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm sure it was delicious.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You cook it long enough, it kills it, right?
I was gonna say how hot that grill must be hot, and it probably never turns off.
Oh, no.
Right.
So was it like 8,000 degrees?
I mean, you know how much the amount of fight, sweat, and maybe like titty milk are on the food? I mean, it's all just
What?
You think that
It's a
makes
whole-
it on there?
yeah, titty milk and fight.
It's like a
sweat.
TLC show, the lactating
That's
chef.
like that's like
just like
So working at Waffle House for 15 years.
I'm not gonna lie, that's like an Applebee's story I've got. So
I don't know, baby. I think he needs a little bit more.
have I never told that story?
A lactating story?
Yeah, at Applebee's.
No.
Oh man. So Applebee's.
How did this lead into another story?
no idea.
Hang on, if you don't know, Applebee's gets wild, and it's been going that direction for a long time. So
I mean, dollar drinks, right?
if we go back about,
It's the daytime Waffle House.
we'll go back about 15 years. And no, this was nighttime.
casual
This was
Waffle
like
House?
at we were probably like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
like 12 somewhere on there when they were doing the half off apps and all that stuff. So the Lake Worth Applebee's, we're in there, and it's me and a few friends, and we're having a few drinks. And these girls come in, and they're across the bar. We're on the other side, and these girls are attractive, but you can tell like they're attractive, but like the
Applebee's hot.
like the dirty, yeah. Like
That's on the gauge
something
now.
like
Applebee's hot.
There's
They're
something
an Applebee's 9, but an outside not.
There's something
like 4.
questionable. It's like in the strip club, they look great until the lights come on, and then you're like, there's something wrong with this person. That's how they looked, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so we're drinking, we're having a good time, and these girls are like over there, and next thing we know, there's people are being flashed, and we're like, wow, this is Applebee's dinner.
I love it here.
Dinner and a show. I love it, right? So we get up and we're leaving about the same time these girls are leaving, and they get out.
Was that by design?
No.
Okay.
They just happened to be like, we had paid our tab. These girls had already started. They had already walked out the door, and we were walking out the door, and this girl turns around, and she's probably like, I'd say like 50 feet in front of us.
Okay.
And she turns around and she just lifts up her shirt and she yells, "Who wants to suck on my titty?"
Okay.
Okay. So that happens, and I'm not going to name his name, but he lost some fingers at some point.
Okay, yeah.
He raises his hand.
Of course, yeah.
He got him reattached.
There's
So they're
always-
reattached
there's
at this
always
point.
one.
But he raises his hand. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm down." And he starts running over there,
I
right?
like titties.
He starts going over there, and the next thing I know is this girl's got her hand, and she just squeezed and shot milk all over him.
Wow.
I've never seen someone do a backflip so quick trying to get away from that.
Huh.
The medicinal properties in that milk probably grew those fingers back.
Probably did. It probably actually did.
it's true.
I've heard that's a thing.
Yeah.
But don't sleep on Applebee's.
I was gonna say, don't sleep on titty
Because you
milk.
might get some titties in the face.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it was like I've gone back to Applebee's several times and have never had that encounter.
Have you tried? You just continue to go back to the Lake Worth Applebee's.
There was a
same time, hoping
There
for
was a
the-
time that we did that. We did do that just to see like if these girls come to find out there was like a strip club like somewhere right around over there.
Oh yeah, there used to be.
Like used to be down like maybe
Hazel.
out towards Hazel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh yeah.
we found out that they like to come in right around that time to promote the club.
So that's how they did it. That's a hell of a promotion. Like that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Jason, what have you been up to recently, sir?
Ooh, I hate all the pressure. Can we go back to lactating?
If that's what you've been up to.
A lot of no. It's been a minute. Yeah, just a lot of wrestling.
Okay.
A lot of art, a lot of daddying, a lot of husbanding. Just the normal things that you do with life. Yeah, a lot of wrestling. I guess that's why I'm here talking. I would imagine,
is it?
that's-
Honestly, I had no idea what you
Yeah,
did.
totally.
Okay.
Oh, me either. I was just like, hey, for me, I'm trying to this is like what I keep telling everybody in the wrestling business. This is like my give back, like goodwill. I want to I think like a lot of people, I heard you saying earlier, COVID kind of cast this like spell on everybody where they're like, so what exactly are we doing?
Right.
And I was traveling on the weekends doing videography work, and my wife was working in Colorado. And so she was on the airplane traveling weekly. And we lived in Fort Worth, and we have this awesome little house in the historic neighborhood. And we've been there 15 years on and off, well, besides a little bit of a stint in Austin. And then we were just in the middle of COVID, and everybody's at home, and we're like, we just got to stop fucking traveling. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, we live in this awesome city. We say we love it here. We're restoring this old home, but we're like not part of the community, but we are. We're kind of like voyeurs,
Right. Present, but
Yeah, we're
kind of.
present, but yeah.
That's my favorite
I
category.
was about to say,
Yeah.
I prefer to be a voyeur.
Yeah. Normally I have the look where people don't want to talk to me anyway. So I'm like,
But over there,
don't you like me?
over there on not South Main, but like in the what do you call it? Like
Near Southside.
Near Southside.
Yeah,
I
I live in
Fairmount.
Fairmount.
it's
yeah.
the perfect spot for bearded men like us,
Sure.
especially you.
Yeah.
Depends
I mean,
on what section you're in, right?
Well, it's like, the beautiful parts of I hate to be like, it's gentrification. No, it's just houses go through cycles and people move into areas and they're cheap enough and they're willing to withstand some things that other people aren't willing
Right.
to withstand. like crack houses,
Yeah.
different things, drive-bys,
Yeah.
things that we had in the neighborhood when we first moved in that we certainly don't now with like 3 Alaskan Shepherds and my triplets and a jogger and headphones on.
It's
Now
weird to see
different
the
world.
transformation of that area.
Yeah.
It really is.
Now I'm the person on the neighborhood watch that they're calling. We saw a bearded male walking at 5 a.m. I'm like, no, I've been here forever. Yeah. So
What's your favorite spot over there by you?
Like for what?
Food, drinks, just if you're gonna go out on a random weekend or something.
I kind of like Proper. I still
Proper's
like
great.
it over there. It's kind of quiet. I'm not really like a big to go out like that. We'll do the Boiled Owl here and there.
Yeah.
Just for the most part. I mean, most of the time we're either at like Panther City, supporting them. My wife's in the coffee business, so we go and hit everybody up and support everybody. Down there. Cherry
Cool.
Coffee's awesome. We kind of go through the mix. Avoca for many years. Our neighborhood is kind of weird. I am like, I love this place, and I'm also kind of like,
It's weird. I hate it.
yeah, no, it's like everything that's kind of happening on South Main we thought was going to happen on Magnolia.
Yeah.
But they were too kind of like, I don't know if it was like greed or if it was like everybody's holding out because they didn't want to like give it up too quick. But yeah, I love our neighborhood. There's a certain nostalgia to it that I can't really see living anywhere else in North Texas.
It's a great spot. I will
It
say
really
that.
is.
Like my girlfriend's salon's on Magnolia,
Oh, okay.
and it's next to the Boiled Owl.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dream House.
Okay.
But I grew up over
I
there.
walk
like,
past there every morning on
really?
my walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At night, do you ever like see all the pink lights? It's like at night it shines pink. But
He probably will now.
He will, yeah.
I will go at night. I go in the morning. I'm a morning person.
He's
I'm
like, he was right. It is all pink. But I was born at that hospital, GPS, and I lived right where it's now like a parking lot.
Did you live
on
on
St. Louis?
St. Louis, yeah.
I lived on St. Louis Ave, and I remember how it was before we moved to Crowley, and I think I was like 5 years old when we moved, and it's still it was still scary, but everything looks the same, even going back because my aunt also lived there after the fact, and so
lots of multi-generational homes
Yeah.
and multi-generational families. Like my neighbors lived there since '84. His ex-mother-in-law has lived there since 1960, which is catty corner to us. We have other people down the street that have lived there 32 years. My neighbors lived there since 1990, which she knew my wife growing up, was her boss. And then we just bought a house next to them, and we were like, hey, we just moved back from New York. We bought this house, kind of like, here's where we're going to go. We got out of New York, escaped. And then we came back, and then it was like, oh, you're our neighbor? Shout out to Pam. What's up, Pam?
But 15 years here, though, in that same spot.
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pricing, too, right?
Oh,
I'm sure
like 2 doors down from me used to be a duplex where there was like multiple shootings and selling rock out of there. And there was like a lot of,
Oh, man.
hey, Matt's your neighbor. Those kind of conversations,
Yeah.
which now it's like a $560,000 beautiful home that's been restored to its original glory.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, but it's
Wow.
all for the better. And
Absolutely,
It's awesome.
100%.
And, and as people actually live in these homes and don't try to have some fucking get rich quick scheme or whatever the fuck, everybody's a real estate mogul now, and they they follow 3 Instagram accounts, and they're like, fuck it, I'm a landlord.
I can do this.
Like, that's like the honestly, like, it's got to be the most like low key shitty fucking profession to be just a landlord. Like,
Yeah.
and I only say that because the people who lived in our house had lived there for 27 years. The man had buried his wife, married his wife's sister, buried her too, tried to buy the house, and the landlord was like, man, you've only paid rent for 30 years. I mean, I can't sell it to you for anything less than market rate.
That's ridiculous.
In comes Jason. Hi, I'd like to buy your house and renovate it because I've been watching YouTube. It's like 2007. I'm like, I think I can do this. And then I find all that out. I'm like, oh, Anyway, not to be a bummer, but yeah, it's just good and bad.
Yeah,
I'd like
for
to see.
sure.
I'd like it to see it remain affordable. That artist types could live there, but I think that that's something that has gone the way of like, kind of like that mysterious benefactor or wealthy benefactor model of like benevolent. What's the word I'm looking for? donations. Like we donate our charity to the arts. I mean, notoriously, the arts have always been funded by the wealthy. It's ignorant to think that hasn't been the way for through
Yeah,
the ages.
the Medicis and all that stuff. Yeah.
But it's like, but now when you look at it, it's it's kind of like, why are we gatekeeping everything for somebody else to deem what is art and what isn't, and the same thing, and then it just goes back to So it was cool when there was a lot of cheap rent houses, and it was like $600 a month, and you can live in this little cool neighborhood, and it's those days are done and gone.
That's why my girlfriend moved in with me. Well, we already talked about it. She lived over there by the park. I forgot what park it is, even though I'd go there all the time.
Yeah.
But the same thing. It's like she was paying, I think, $1,200, and then they wanted to raise it to like, I don't know, like $1,500. She'll probably text me. It's like, no, you're wrong. But and it was a 1-bedroom, and it was like one of those. It was a 100-year-old house, like a duplex.
So it was haunted as fuck.
It was haunted, she says.
Oh yeah.
But had beautiful magnolia trees. Obviously, it was magnolia, but everything just started going up because they sold to a company from like a different state. That which is happening a lot in that area. Like a majority of the properties are starting to become bought out by outside.
Yeah, I think it's like
investors.
26% of all the inventory is held by equity firms.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
That's So that's the part that's hard, especially due to the fact that like really there's no major. In most cases, a lot of cases, there's like not a lot of major upkeep. Now, of course, our property taxes in that area are fucking outrageous. I mean, that's a whole other.
That's a whole other rant there.
It's a whole other thing. So, of course, holding a property, you can't just continue to pay higher and higher taxes and not charge more rent.
Yeah.
But there's like a middle ground somewhere.
Yeah, but it's not that. I mean, the rates
no
that
AC, same floors, same walls, same 100-year-old house.
Yep.
It's twice the price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chad, what have you been up to? We got on this whole tangent here, and we never actually asked you. Javier,
We haven't said Javier either. No.
Oh,
Javier,
it's the same.
what
You
have
know,
You did the same thing with me.
metal show.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
went
yeah.
to the Tropic Lady after
Oh,
that.
yeah, we
It's
did
really,
do Tropic
How
Lady.
was Tropic Lady?
It's good. It's really good.
Have you been on
I
Race?
need more. I need more than
I haven't
that.
been.
Over on Race Street? So Tropic Lady is owned by Bearded Lady, same owners.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I actually like the Tropic Lady better than Bearded.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of food did y'all get?
So I got a burger. It was fantastic. It had pineapple on it and some bacon and blue
Tropic Lady, that makes
cheese
sense.
and
Sounds
double
like a perfect
patties.
hamburger.
Dude, it was great. It was fantastic. The drinks. So I got this concoction that was like it was kind of like the dirty Dr. Peppers that are like, have you heard of those
No,
where
but-
people are putting like cream and Dr.
yeah,
Pepper
I
and
like
all
that shit.
Yeah, like swig.
Yeah.
So it was a boozy version of that.
Ooh.
And it was coconutty and Dr.
Limey
Peppery
and
and
shit,
limey and just.
Are we talking like milk and Pepsi, like cream and Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this. It's like any. It started in Utah, so like because they can't drink in Utah, they started doing.
Well, they
these,
can drink in Utah.
Well, they don't.
Right.
They tried. I mean, what I'm trying to talk about is who I'm talking about. So they're trying to like figure out how they can do something fun and different, and so they would do sodas and they would make them dirty by adding some kind of like cream component or whatever. So you would have like, and I think the one that's most popular is kind of like that. It's like
It's the coconut cream, Dr. Pepper.
cream, Dr. Pepper, lime thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's basically. I mean, when you think about like why you love a root beer float, that's it, right?
Yeah.
It's like the root beer and then the creamy thing. But yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. And then some bacon wrapped pineapple, had like a hot honey on there.
That shit was bomb.
Yeah, it was great.
It was delicious.
Y'all both got hot
like
dogs,
honey,
right?
We both got hot dogs.
So they have hot dogs there, and they were the waitress. She was like, / bartender was like, the hot dogs are slept on. Like, get a hot dog. So they got the hot dog. They y'all both liked it. Yeah. Jesse got
Really
some
good.
nachos. The nachos were fantastic.
We need to check it out.
Yeah.
Serge and I need
And,
to
and
go.
it is such a cool building too. Like the way it's all laid out, it's got this very like
Reminds me of
mid-century.
Jack Rabbit Slims.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's where it's in the same building as what Londa used to be in. I think.
No.
No? Oh, never mind.
But the problem with Ray Street is that nobody goes to Ray Street.
No.
That's
of
the
course
issue.
not. Well, there's a couple issues with Ray Street, but we don't have the time.
We don't. Yeah. But
To get into
one of them
that.
is that nobody goes to Ray Street,
Right.
and we need to. I mean, they got some pretty cool shit over there.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the developer though. All right, so this past week, so Friday, hung out with my parents. We went to the new Eduardo's pastry shop here in River Oaks. They had a grand opening. A lot of people there. Was pretty cool. They had a really fun grand opening because they had like this old station wagon that had like taps out of it, and they were just like pouring, Yingling or different beers and a margarita off the side of the thing.
Dude, that's a business right now.
Yeah, the guy, I guarantee he's killing it. I don't know how much they paid this guy, but
Mobile bars.
yeah.
I mean, that you can make some good money off.
He
of
just
it.
drives up. He literally backed up his little old station wagon, painted, looked really nice, looked like classy as fuck. He just started pouring drinks for everybody.
Yep.
Boom, done. And then they had another tent where these guys were like cooking burgers, and then Eduardo sold out in like an hour and a half. I think he was completely sold out of everything he had. Cupcakes, cookies, little mini cheesecakes and stuff. And then, of course, the Black Gato candy, which is all the freeze-dried candy stuff.
Yeah.
It was great. Have you ever had freeze-dried candy?
Oh, yeah. I just had some this last weekend. A chocolate peanut butter ice cream sandwich that was freeze-dried up.
Really?
Yeah, I guess like a
Interesting.
lot of the peanut butter, I guess, is they gave me the whole, oh, you like peanut butter? And then I got stuck. I was like,
Yes.
let me tell you about all the things I've tried to freeze dry with peanut butter after I had a 6-day binger on TikTok. And I was like, okay, well, tell me. Captive audience.
Tell me more.
I just bought your $12 of freeze dried. It was like,
I've never had anything freeze-dried, and we got the Skittles. We got like the the spicy, almost like chamoy type Skittles, and then we've got the sour ones, and they're great. They're just like they're just crunchy Skittles. They're so good. But yeah, it was a great turnout. It was cool to see them. Got my hair cut over at Faded Art. I was doing the whole River Oaks thing. We've got some cool spots in River Oaks now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Faded Art. Have y'all been to Faded Art Barbershop yet?
How much did Alex pay you to say all this stuff?
Nothing.
No, I
Nothing.
haven't.
I've been meaning to talk
I'm
about
going in to
Faded.
get a fade tomorrow.
I'm gonna. I need to go get my hair cut.
I've been meaning to talk about Faded Art for a minute because he did convince me to go once, and then I just haven't stopped going there. And, I went to District for years, and now I'm going there. But no, it's just cool to see actual businesses pop up in River Oaks that are hopefully going to stick around for a while and not like shitty ones.
Yeah.
We
My
had so
brother,
many shitty ones.
I mean, we need a couple more pawn shops.
Do we?
Let me just say.
and a title max.
Yeah.
A couple more
some reason.
cafeteria. I mean,
I mean, the
washateria.
commercials convinced me, make me want to go turn my title in for money. How does that work? And my brother and my nephew get their haircut there, though. And we got our Bubba his hair cut at the Fur Studio next to the Italian place. So they did a really good job on Bubba. He looks like a younger dog.
So that's where the first studio is?
Yeah, the
Right
Fur
there?
Studio.
Okay,
Pet
so in that
Spa.
same shopping center.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shout out to them, too, man. It's good stuff. Got a lot of cool shit here.
Nice.
I haven't been to Boulevard Brews yet.
I haven't either.
But
I
that,
saw a lot of people going in and out, but I have
The
not
Mexican
been.
restaurant right over there.
Beaners?
What?
Isn't that what it's called?
No.
Oh.
Excuse me? What did you say?
It's called Josephina's.
Josefina's, yeah.
Josef-
Josefas.
Josefina's?
Yeah, we went there
Yeah.
once too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh,
I enjoyed
service
it.
sucked. No,
I mean, it's no Rivas,
stuff
you know
here,
what I
though.
mean?
It's no Rivas.
It's no Rivas.
Can't knock that hustle.
So that night we went out. My parents went with me to the whole grand opening thing, and then we went to Coco Shrimp, which I haven't been there in a minute.
Yeah.
I fucking love Coco Shrimp. I didn't realize they expanded.
I had only been there for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Really?
And I fucking
man.
live there. Yeah, like our friend Josh is always telling my wife and I, like, we go cook shrimp every week. And I'm like,
It's such a simple concept, too.
I know.
yeah, I don't know. I would always look at it from the street and be like, and then I went inside and it's like huge. I guess did they take over what was the coffee shop at one time?
Yeah, so it used to only
yeah.
be the right side where the register is, and then
Oh.
that's it. And
That's
now,
the one the first time
Okay.
we went
I
in
got
and it was like
confused.
packed. So I was like, it's a little too much
Yeah.
people for some shrimp.
because I was going in the normal door and it said, please use the other door. I'm like, I didn't know there was a fucking other door. And I go in and it's just huge in there now,
Yeah.
which is nice because they're always packed, like you said,
Totally,
right? They're
yeah.
packed, busy.
I
and-
like the coffee shop.
Well, the coffee shop failed for its own reasons.
It
It's
did.
not because
I
of
know.
Coco Shrimp.
I know.
Don't act like Coco Shrimp put them out of business. They're two completely different businesses.
I know. I just miss it.
You
It
got
was
to be
good. I've
fucking
been there a
good
few
in the
times.
coffee game. Your
Yeah.
fucking chops have got to be fucking
Yeah.
up to speed right about now.
And we've got so many good coffee shops. Whatever. So went there, and then Sarah's working at the Winchester, and I hadn't been down at the old
Old Patty Reds.
old Patty Reds in a hot minute. And my parents are like, we'll go with you, whatever. We'll go. And my mom doesn't drink, she doesn't
Yeah.
really drink anything unless it's like fruity and sweet. And and Sarah was doing a whiskey. It was Dickel bourbon, and so she was doing that. They were doing
Dickel.
My mom was doing that. She's like, Dickel. Like, Mom, come on, grow the fuck up. What are we doing here? And so they were promoting Dickel, but they would do pickleback. So it was a Dickel pickle.
Ooh,
Dickel.
pickle.
And so it was like the Dickel bourbon and then a pickleback shot. And I took a bourbon shot. I don't fuck with pickle, so I just had the shot. My mom was like, my mom's like, you know what? I'll try it because of the pickle. I'm like, Mom, you're going to fucking hate it. Bourbon. Like, you're never going to like this. She ended up taking 3 Dickel pickles that night. And I don't know. She was not even hungover. Yeah, she does not drink, but like she had need to drink more than like 1 or 2 drinks because she gets loopy. But she had, Sarah's in the chat, Dickel pickles. She had 3 Dickel pickles on top of her like cider, and she was having a great time. It was fun. It was a good time.
Pickles, and cider.
Nope, we're not doing any of this. No. We're not doing that. Nope.
Sorry.
You fucking asshole.
That is a bar that I nearly died in, you know.
We were having all these conversations about how we cleaned up your throw up in the bathroom, and then they were all so excited to see the place because they've heard so many stories, and then they walk down there and go, "We picked you and Tim up here before." I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, we picked y'all up from here before. I think it was around New Year's. I'm like, what the hell? Apparently they picked us up there when we were just like,
I don't remember.
Gave them a call and was like, we need a ride.
I don't remember.
Pre-Uber, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, if we didn't remember, it's probably good that we called, you know?
Real quick, I want to go back to your Coco Shrimp order. What did you like most about Coco Shrimp?
What did I like most about it?
Yeah.
Why-
What's the thing
Like
that's
a little
weird
bit
question.
of rice. I got what did I get? I got the garlic butter because I didn't
that
want it to
was
be. I didn't want it to be breaded. But then I got the hot one. But then the hot one was breaded, and I was just kind of like newbie, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got chastised by our friend Josh, and he was like, "You didn't get the fucking taco."
Oh,
the
the
taco.
The taco's good. I always go for
And I'm like,
I go for those
"Yeah,
shrimp and rice.
no."
Yeah, me
Shrimp and
too.
rice. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
But I like the
solid.
sweet and spicy.
I'm
Yeah.
a garlic
The-
garlic butter or
I like the
the
garlic butter.
spicy.
And then the rice and a little extra poppy seed dressing on the salad.
I asked them for
Yeah,
extra
I'm
garlic
in
butter. I want my rice really garlic
Holy
buttered.
shit! Really?
Oh yeah.
I think I used a straw to get the end of it out.
Yeah, I want extra, right?
I mean, of course, I did.
Have you
get it
have
in
you
there
been to
with-
have you been to Big Cat
Big Cat
Burger?
Oh yeah.
In the trailer?
The truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on here, aren't they?
Dude, that's a
Oh, Kelly's Onion Burger's on here.
Kelly's
Kelly's is a
Burger's
mainstay for our shows.
fantastic.
Yeah, and shout out to Kelly. Well, he's in
shout out
Ozone.
shout out to Joe Kelly of Ozone.
Joe, yeah,
man.
yeah.
Joe Kelly, he's a solid guy, and
They that's actually how I first we were doing an event at Martin House and Kelly's was there and I'd had them and then we started talking music and then next thing Joe's like, "Oh, I play in this band Ozone." I'm all, "Motherfucker, I've seen you." I knew it. And then he's looking at this. "What are you looking at, old man?" I'm like, "No, I used to play in all these hardcore bands." I'm like, "I'm fucking in it." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Would you guys want to come out to our show?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And now they've been there for every show.
Hell yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's our buddy Lance. That's how he found out. He's like, "Holy fuck! It's the guy from the truck outside,
Yeah.
or whatever." So it's like,
Well
"You just
done.
served me a burger, man.
now you're up there screaming. It's great.
I fucking love it. I'm gonna buy all your merch."
Yeah.
Totally.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Kelly's is always out there.
Hell yeah.
We have Big Dogs out there quite a bit too. He does glizzies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
He gets on.
last bit about the weekend, and then we're
Yeah.
going to get into all of because
Yeah.
I want to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Everything, Jason.
Yeah.
No.
And also history, and also what
What?
you love. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, like I said, it was Crystal and Jesus last weekend.
Yeah.
Got to hang out with them a little bit.
Yeah.
Jesus played at TX. That was a
It was fun.
fantastic
It was great.
show. A lot of
Great.
people showed up. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And then we went to brunch, but then you boys left. I went over to the new
Did you go to Halos?
We went
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Rainbow 2.0, and it was a lot of fun. And the beers were only $2, and it was stupid cheap, and the DJ was killing it. Apparently, everyone left after the
Not the drag show.
drag show. Which did y'all know what it was? The
Shrek.
theme?
Yeah, yeah,
Shrek themed.
Shrek themed.
It was a Shrek themed drag
Really?
show. Never heard of this shit in my life. I've seen pictures and video of like Shrek and what's the little
Lord
dude's-
Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad.
You're like, why is this a thing?
Wild. Whatever. It looked like a great time, but then everyone left after brunch except for our crew and all the girls, and so we stayed and just danced and stuff. But that place is cool. Definitely want to go check out Rainbow 2.0 again with more of us. Maybe at night where it's.
I mean,
more people.
I mean,
What's that on Jennings?
No, they moved it, so
Camp Bowie.
it's
Oh,
over
it's
like
on
Camp.
Camp Bowie.
Yeah, it's on Camp
The traffic
Bowie and
circle. It's the old-
Altamira.
Oh, really?
the old
Peony.
Grandy's kind of
next door,
behind
next to
it.
the old Grandy's.
Used to be Peonies.
Yeah, it used
Yeah.
to be Peonies. Had a really good. and across from Golden Corral.
Yeah.
Down the street from the Rail Club.
And Poppy's Tacos, which
Yes.
slaps, by the way.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that
Poppy's
place.
Tacos? Yeah.
All right.
Really?
You ready to get into it? Yeah, Poppy's Tacos is pretty damn good.
I like
yeah.
a good taco.
It's
Get in here.
Yeah,
We
right
gotta
by-
start
okay,
the
here we
show.
go.
Okay,
All right,
Tim.
Start the show.
You know what? We should have had like a wrestling theme playing.
shut the fuck up.
Oh,
God damn it.
the pre-production meeting.
Oh, hello everyone, and
I was a little
welcome
fucked today.
to the Funky Panther, coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. We have got a hell of a show for
Funkytown.
you here on episode 179. We have got Jason Keenan here with us. You want to say hey, sir?
Hello.
We're going to talk all about music and wrestling and what the fuck he even does. So
like it.
sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Tim.
Wait, hold on. Fuck you. Do it over. Do it over. Let's get into it.
Can
and
we have
let's get
AI say
into it. You want
Yeah,
in?
hell
you want
yeah.
in?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to be the fourth one.
Okay. Yes.
And let's get into it. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
And I'm Tim.
I'm Jason.
And we are
the
Funky Panther!
All right, this is the
wrote
thing
out,
now.
sorry.
That's solidified.
Yeah.
You are the third or fourth person in a row now. No one ever asked. We've done 179
Can I
episodes.
do this?
No one's asked, and then recently everyone's been asking.
They're
So
like, why did? Can I?
I want
I
to
just
do
wanted
it
to
too.
do it. I
That
just
felt
wanted to do it.
good. I was like part of the team.
Yeah.
You are a part
I was
of
like,
the team.
yeah.
Tonight and tonight only. Tomorrow you're on your own,
Oh,
motherfucker.
really? I'm like, but we were talking about like lactation and like, tacos, and I thought I had friends.
Pickles and pickles and cider.
They won't know about this because they don't subscribe to YouTube.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this on the podcast, do yourself a favor and go to the YouTube channel at the Funky Panther.
Yeah, that was a
and
bit.
subscribe. We talked about some weird stuff.
Yes.
We got real deep though too, talking about like the housing crisis and
Oh, that was,
Fairmont.
yeah. Let's
Tacos
not talk
and
about that. That was like
lactation.
it was all sad. I was like, I'm a sad artist, and we can't afford to live anywhere. And, oh.
It got weird. It got weird.
That's all right. We're back.
So let's start this thing off
Yes.
by getting to know you, Jason.
Okay.
So who the hell are you?
I am Jason Keenan. I am a resident of Fairmount in our beautiful city of Fort Worth, Texas, in the near South Side. I'm 50 years old. I am a husband and a father and a brother and
Long
a
walks on the
son.
beach, or
Yeah, you
Okay,
know, I
all
do
right.
a little bit of that. I mean, as long as I got my feet covered because the sand's hot. You know, I'm kind of a weird guy. You know, so some of that's like okay. Like I don't wear flip flops in public.
Okay.
It's like a kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
But lately I have. My wife's like, what the fuck, are you okay?
Who
Did you
are
have a
you?
stroke?
So she wants you to wear the flip.
Well, she's like, you're not like living in like 1985 Manhattan where like, the world's about to end and I have to run for my life. She's
Yeah.
like, you live in Fort Worth. You can wear flip-flops.
Like
And
the
I'm
Watchmen. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just like, you never know when you're going to have to kick some ass. She's
Exactly.
like, when was the last time you kicked anybody's ass? I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
It's been a minute, but you know.
But it could be any time.
Yeah, but, fucking let a motherfucker try.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Yeah.
Well, if you've ever had a Mexican mother, I think that the sandal is really where the power
is.
comes from, right?
Yes.
It's not so much the
It's the
kick.
chancla.
It's the chancla that really is the
It's the
weapon
fear
of
of
choice.
the chocolate, I think, really. It's like,
Yeah, it's the fear.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the fear. The fear's strong.
I've seen there was a Olympics where they had a chancla tossing contest.
It was an Olympic event.
Yes.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
So we'll be seeing this in the
You're going to
Paris.
see this in the World Games next year, a year after which we found out because of John Oliver. We were watching John Oliver over the weekend, which recorded on a Saturday when there was big news on a Sunday. Why don't you record on a Sunday? So there was a thing called the World Games. Next year it's done in China. And they are tryouts for all the games that are trying to get into the Olympics. And so people like put in like what games like you want to put in there, and they try them out. Like they have
Really?
they have like drone racing where the guys have the things and they're like
Can we submit a game?
Right?
Crazy.
I didn't know that this was a thing. There's like a
I'm ready to get blitzed at the World Games. I'm getting fucking blitzed at the World Games and nobody can fucking stop me. That's just fucking where it's at.
I love to hear it.
cut it, print it. That's
Using
the new
that.
promo.
Yeah, that's it. Like, we're going in.
But it's crazy. Like they have all these weird types of. There's one he wants really bad, and I'm sure y'all have seen the video of those. It's called knife
Fight?
duel. And
Knife duel?
But it's like the contest where they get the sharp knife and they like cut rope or cut like wood. And
Oh,
then
I
they
have
go
seen
and
that.
Cut like a row of 10 bottles of water in one slash.
And then the rope is like stupid
Yes,
thick.
it's crazy, but it's like somebody you see with like a fanny pack and long hair.
It looks like you.
Yeah, me, and a beard and glasses.
Oh shit, it is you.
But they're walking, and he's like, huh. You know, it's crazy.
Just one swipe.
But
He
once
cuts
you
it with a
start-
frisbee, like the frisbee.
Oh,
golf guys.
I know what you're talking about.
I think, and there's one part where they throw tennis balls or baseballs like up in the air, and he has to chop them. It's crazy.
This fucking fruit ninja.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
insane.
real life fruit ninja.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. It's kind of like whenever they were going to allow wrestlers in the Olympics to be a part of wrestling. Like they had that conversation like 8 years ago.
A floor is lava would be a good one too.
I mean, fucking Donald Trump was president. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's great.
Let's
That
go.
motherfucker's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
I feel like
How
we
do you
have to.
think that's how he became president? He
Yeah.
like learned how to fucking work.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Dude, let's go. He learned how to fucking work.
All right, we have to take
You
this
learned
moment
from the master.
to, if we're going to talk about these almost wannabe Olympics,
Yes.
what is your number one almost Olympic sport that you would love to see played in the Olympics?
You know do you remember American Gladiator?
Yeah.
Love
Where they got
American
shot at with the tennis balls?
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
I want that to be an
What about
Olympic
the
sport.
foam RPG? That was my shit.
That was a good
Oh,
one.
hell yeah.
Yeah, the
That was
foam
great.
RPG. That was
Always
solid.
So
wanted to
basically,
be part of
American
that.
Gladiator
All those games.
course type thing.
All the
Joust.
American Gladiators put it into the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. What about you, Javier?
I'm going to have to go with Tim. I like that.
you gotta
No, you got to pick something
You got
else.
to do something. Don't be a little Javier.
Card counting. No.
Counting.
Something degenerate would love. Like, have you seen those marble races that they had? It was really
Yes.
popular during COVID. And so they had like all these marbles and you place a bet on which color you think is going to win. That's what I think should be in the Olympics.
And it's just a long track. Yeah.
Have you seen where they got the thing you run on the treadmill? And people
What is that thing people do?
That moving sidewalk.
well, they put people they put like they
You
put
know,
like,
butts in your house, like a small little moving sidewalk in your house.
It just never stops.
but they put like different like pool balls or whatever, and then like whichever one stays on the treadmill the
Oh, yeah,
longest
yeah.
win. Yeah,
I could watch some of that.
dude, I could sit there and man, as a degenerate
Or like the
gambler.
Goldberg. Is that what they're called? The Rune Goldberg
Yeah.
or whatever?
Rube Goldberg. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
How would you make that Olympic sport though?
You could make like a race with it. Like you have
Oh,
like
whoever's
multiple
fastest.
lanes, kind of like combine these things together. Interesting.
You'd have to mix it with like, is it cake meets like Rube Goldberg machine meets.
Right.
I just look at like
all the viral shit.
curling made it into the Olympics.
Oh, I love some.
And I love
Curling's
watching
great.
curling. It
Yeah.
is great. It's a game for dads, really.
You look like probably both of us look like we should be on a curling team.
we should.
While Javier's over there cutting rope with a fucking knife.
Oh, yeah, baby.
All right, Jason, what is your almost Olympic sport that needs to be in the games?
Ooh, fuck. I think it would be something like Squid Games meets the
Ooh.
fucking Sphere in Vegas meets Fortnite. It would be like, here's a bunch of people who don't do shit with their lives and you don't mind to watch them die because it's on TV.
So you want a Hunger Games, like a real
Yeah,
life.
but maybe like
life
more
and death thing.
digital, like,
Okay.
you know, and then like halfway through they like turn off all the lights and it's just like green screen and everybody's like, were you really going to kill him? And they're like, they have an emotional moment. They're like, maybe I would. Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot one of the
We can go
games
there.
which they showed on the thing was fin swimming. So it's swimming, but they put like a mermaid fin on you. and
Oh,
you have
fuck all
to-
that cosplay shit.
Now we're getting weird.
Dude,
I can't go there.
Now we know what we're going to talk
I
about on the
can't
next
go there.
episode.
The world is so fucking crazy right now.
We're going to talk about this on the next episode. We got to have. I want to. I
Do
want
you
to
want a deep dive since the Olympics
Hell
are
yeah.
Oh, it started on Friday, by the way. The Olympics start on Friday when you're hearing
When
this.
did they swim in the shit river?
I think they already. I'm not sure they did.
Because the
Wait,
mayor,
what?
the
They haven't started them yet.
so the river in
the mayor
Paris,
already. She already swam in
the
it.
Seine River or whatever.
River Seine. River Seine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's an issue where when it rains, it backs up the sewer system in Paris and dumps into the river.
Right.
And so it's got like the highest concentration of like E. coli and human waste and all
It's
that
shit
stuff.
water.
So they spent all this money to clean it up, and the people of Paris were so pissed off about this that they were like, shit in the river. Everybody in Paris just take a shit in the river on this day. That way when the mayor gets in there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. But the mayor swam in it. And I'm like, because they're going to do part of the triathlon in the river.
All
Aren't
right.
they going to open it up too for the marathon? They're going to
Yeah.
open it up for people to run
Yeah.
the actual course.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
I mean,
Yeah, get with it.
it's the poop river. It's like swimming in the Trinity.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
I've done that
jog in the
before, but
river.
I'm glad you're alive.
me too.
So
Yes.
I almost want to say the slapping thing because that's become a real big deal. Is the whole like slap war thing?
Slap fights is
Slap
a cake.
fights.
Oh, it,
Slap fights is a cake.
Before the
is it
They
cake?
rear back. If the hand just crumbles, it's like that was cake. Who would have known?
yeah,
But I've
Just
seen
guess
it-
beforehand.
I've seen a couple
face
of videos
crumbles.
on, I think it was TikTok or something,
Yeah.
of these like fights where two people are seated in a car. Have you seen this?
Oh, the carjitsu.
Is that what it's
Let's
called?
fucking go.
There's someone in the
carjitsu.
driver's seat and someone in the passenger seat. I think, are they seatbelt
They
in?
seatbelt in and they blow the whistle and,
And then they like unseat belt. They start like going at it, like just fighting in this tiny front seat of this car.
See, I'm here for all that weird shit. Like, I'm here for that. I'm here for like the 2v1 situations. I mean,
I
all
like
of that.
all of it, but I think it needs to happen in River Oaks so we can watch it for real.
Yes.
Like that's my thing about all this like niche shit. It's like, okay, can we just like get some?
I
friends
want
do
it to
that?
look like domestic violence.
Jesus.
This is all E ESPN the Ocho shit right here. That's what that
is.
is.
That's what fucking Peach Bush will do to you. Make you beat the shit out of people. Just
All right, Jason. Sorry for
Yeah.
the segue, but back
Oh,
to
easy.
you. Back
Oh,
to you.
No, okay, just us. Back to us.
Back to us.
Back to
Back to
us.
us.
So learn a little about you.
Yes.
So you talked about like some music and stuff like that. You've been to
Yes.
you've been in a lot of bands.
I've been in a lot of bands. Started going to shows when I was 16. Started playing my first bands when I was 18.
Banjo, is that correct?
Went on washboard.
Okay, right. Oh, I'm sorry. I messed that up.
Solely washboard. My first 3 Bonnaroos, I played banjo, but no, I never played Bonnaroo.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Bonnaroo probably. No. Well, maybe I would play Bonnaroo.
I mean,
It depends. Like,
I would.
depends.
Yeah,
Maybe
Would
a
you
furnace, furnace festival.
I'd play Furnace
Yeah.
Fest, of course. Yeah, Crazy Fest, any of those.
what's the biggest show you've played, like, or one that stands out in your mind?
When I was a kid, probably opening up for like Cannibal Corpse and Brutal Truth. That was like the first time I ever played in like a hardcore band that
Okay.
also played in front of a giant metal audience.
That's pretty cool.
That was like kind of like, oh fuck, yeah. So that was probably it. And I like the festival type thing. Yeah, I've always played in kind of like real kind of like how would you say, emotionally charged kind of hardcore stuff, like
Okay.
intimate emotional expression. More that I've always been a fan of the art of the music scene and the art of the hardcore scene and the art of that's what attracted me. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 5, but then I kind of fell out of it. Then I kind of fell back into it, playing music. So I think that like I've always been a fan of like the real kind of like more intimate kind of art pieces.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I just there's something to the mechanical nature of the performance that just kind of like has always been kind of like to me. I mean, I enjoy it, and I enjoy when things it's kind of like religion, when it's like 20 of your closest people kind of like talking spirituality and like how we can be good to each other. It's awesome. But then when it's like 4,000 people and you're all like, oh yeah, and we don't like gays, hallelujah, and then everybody's like, yeah,
Right, it takes
and
a turn a little bit.
Yeah, then it just kind of then you get into the kind of like the herd mentality type stuff.
Right.
So music has been that way with me, and kind of like storytelling and everything like that. So I've always liked the little stuff, like
Cool.
the more intimate stuff. Anything that like the Etsy of music before Etsy became like just a fucking algorithm.
So what did you play?
I play bass.
Play bass? Okay.
Yeah, that was like the
You had to know, like you're
weird.
like
the default
weird.
instrument.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'd like to play in a band, and they're like, well, you can play the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to play the guitar.
That's what I started
or the
off on.
drums.
Play bass, yeah.
You're just
and then
Tim
I
in
just
a few
became,
years.
I just loved it.
Yeah.
You're a better Tim in a few
years older. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It happens. It's
Y'all
live.
said it happens
Yeah,
at the same
it
time.
happens.
It's
What
live.
the fuck?
Yeah.
it happens. You have my dog. You have my cat.
I know. It's just
Yes.
it's a weird paradox we're in right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
So moving
Yes.
like into like you said you grew up loving wrestling at 5, kind of fell out of it, got into music, all that
Yep,
stuff.
yep,
But
yep.
like, where did that crossover meet again?
I was on tour in 1997, and ECW had been blowing up for a few years on the East Coast, and it was kind of like at that time culturally, musically, it was like another bump that they had in like the 80s,
Yeah.
because that's when we had oil money and MTV and cable, and we were coming out of like the 70s, and it was kind of like this whole new era, and then we were just kind of being administered culture through the
Right,
television.
yeah.
And so then in the 90s, kind of similar, we had the whole, like, oh, no cock rock, now we're going grunge, and everybody was like, yeah, grunge. And then it was like this whole big...
That's okay. It's just
machine.
it's ice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ice.
The ice machine is cooking up some ice. And so then, so while that was happening, I was kind of like putting my foot in. I grew up on the magazine, so anytime I'd go to the store, I'd pick up the magazine and kind of look through it and be like, And in the early 90s, it was kind of cheesy. Wrestling was kind of hokey.
Yeah, it got to that point where it was,
Just kind of like all the tough guy fighting of the 80s and all the real nitty gritty bloodletting from the 70s, it kind of died. And then it was like, I am a trash man. And I was like, okay. You're a trash man and you're crazy. Yeah. So it was
I'm
like,
a pimp.
yeah. And then, and also I had watched all these people. It was kind of like, you'd watched all these people who you thought were real people, not realizing that they were a character at the time.
Yeah.
Kind of then transition into, well, I got to pay the bills, so okay, I'm a trash man now. And it kind of like threw the facade off because it was so real in my mind at that time. So then ECW was like kind of a breath of fresh air. It was like, it was the underground scene, is the music that kind of caught my eye, that I was enamored by. And I was living in Phoenix at that time. I moved there when I was right before high school started with my family, and that was kind of like a new landscape, a new world. And so I was kind of like a loner. I was always kind of that way anyway. And then about 16, I started going to these house shows and seeing all these touring bands, and I was into metal first. So that was like I saw Metallica, and some of those things. And then it was like, oh, like you can do this, and like we're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be something more than what you make it. And I was like, oh, like that kind of DIY spirit was very intoxicating.
Right.
Because that's more of like, I think how a majority of the world feels the world should be, like a little bit more, less refined and a little bit more just do it yourself.
Right.
So that kind of like started the whole process of, finding those things. So we were on tour. I saw a commercial for ECW when we were in Long Island, and I was like, holy shit, I need to go see this. And they're like, tomorrow night in Philadelphia. And I was like, we're going to Philadelphia tomorrow, or we're going to South Jersey or whatever. And so went through, went and watched a show, was like, holy shit. Came home from tour, kind of things, we're young kids and we're on the road for 45 days. I was like, you know what, I'm out of this band. Thank you. It was a good time. I love you all, but I'm done. And then I sold all my shit and was like, I'm going to wrestling school. I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to do it now. And that was the beginning of that.
So there is a wrestling school?
There's a million wrestling
okay.
schools. Yeah, there's a million wrestling schools, just like you can imagine.
Really?
Yeah, like all the big retired wrestlers, like they have their own schools where you can like train and learn the business.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to get somebody who had a stable. I mean, it's like the arts. It's all subjective. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's work ethic is different. So yeah, but there's a lot of places to learn your craft. But I think it's just like anything. It's like when you're a kid, I'm going to take guitar lessons because mom set them up for me. And then that person teaches you kind of rudimentary basics, teaches you your chords, teaches you structure, teaches you how to hold it. And then from there it becomes yours. Same thing.
Gotcha.
Same thing. Yeah, I met King Kong Bundy at a wrestling show in Vegas.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and so King Kong Bundy was like, "You need to go see Larry Sharp. He's a guy." I was like, "Okay." Yeah, so that's how that whole story started. Yeah.
So how long were you in school?
I did that for about 2.5 months before I was just like, these are not my people, and this person is not my person, and I kind of was like, I wasn't learning anything, but I was kind of learning stuff, and I was learning how to bump, and he was like putting me through the rigors because I was probably had a chip on my shoulder because when I was younger I was kind of a dick. Well, like not really, but kind of like.
Well, no, Tim was too, so I get it.
Yeah, I kind of had like I kind of had this like self protection thing happening. I've pretty much outgrown that. You get older.
Yeah.
You realize the world isn't against you. The world doesn't give a fuck about you.
Absolutely.
You are fucking nothing. Yeah.
Right.
You are nothing except for the people that you provide value to, and then those people provide value to you, and then that's fucking community. Oh,
There it is.
oh my God. Novel concepts, you know. I think that's why the phone is so destructive. People have this like false sense of community.
Oof, yeah.
It's like and you're striving for false community, and when you strive for something that's not real, then your intentions aren't any longer real. That's a whole other sidebar.
Yeah.
Anyway. So went to wrestling school. Then I met a promoter who became my mentor in the business. A man named Dennis Corluzzo. Rest in peace, Dennis. His family was beautiful. He kind of realized I was like, hey, I want to promote shows, and I want to get behind the organization of how this all comes to be. And because I've been doing that with music, and I've been traveling and playing music, but setting up shows, because when you're younger, that's how you make money.
Right.
You know, and that's how you network. So then as I started doing that, Dennis kind of like, I said, hey, I'm not going to work with this guy anymore. I don't really know if this is my thing. It's a little too touchy-feely. I always say to my friends from the business now, I wish somebody had told me like, hey, you don't have to be able to do everything. It's kind of like being a musician. Like, you know, just because you play guitar doesn't mean you have to be able to solo. It doesn't have, it doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
You can just hone your version of the craft. And I guess I wish I had kind of put that together earlier. But anyway, that's why I'm good for what I do now. Meeting people where they are. That's kind of like the creative process in wrestling. That's a bigger piece. So I started working with Dennis and started putting on shows and started seeing how that whole thing worked and started seeing how he dealt with the talent, started seeing how everything was kind of put together. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. And then I moved and I played music again, and I kind of got one foot in, and I kind of like always kind of at a, kind of one foot in, one foot out. Mm-hmm. It's like feast or famine money, similar to music. So I really understood that road. And being an artist and being a creator, like my wife Jessica and I we're a perfect match because we're so opposite, but we're so the same. We're always making, we're always doing something, we're always creating something. So for us, that kind of like earthworm, input, output, make stuff, tactile, do things is always going to be a part. So I think I kind of realized that I could add more to the business if I just kind of utilized what I kind of knew about from the outside and would kind of help. But I also realized that as a storyteller and as a curator and as an event producer, I want it to be my way. You can go and especially as you get to a certain age as an artist or a curator, like you can do things for other people, but if it's your dream and your version of a concept, you want to have a hold of it.
Right. Yeah.
I just didn't want to be holding a camera for somebody who I thought was less of a storyteller, less of a producer, telling me what to tell these people, and just see somebody else. I mean, for the output, it just wasn't really there. So we've had a lot of ability to, I've got to work with a lot of great talents and help tell their story and help refine how the world sees them through the lens, which is a huge part of it. I mean, it's all in the details for me, storytelling, all those things. So I kind of got my way back in with wrestling doing that. Then about 15 years ago, I started doing some shows for some friends when we moved back to Texas to kind of help out their theater, the Ridgely Theater. Yeah. They were kind of in a, they were falling to the grips of Live Nation, eating up what we consume, how we consume it, where we consume it, how we're supposed to consume it. And that, I mean, people have been talking about that in the music industry for 2 decades. I mean, at this point
so
now.
much so now that the Congress has had stepped in and started looking into.
Oh, I mean, from owning the ticketing to owning the venues to doing the artist management to putting it. I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
Live Nation's got their fingers in everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a make or break, and especially at a time where like everything is. I mean, we lost the ability to create stars, I think, in a lot of fields, because things are just so open. It's so Wild West with everything.
Right.
Which is good and bad, because I think like a lot of the manufactured talent, actors, I mean, we've always known Hollywood was kind of like a...
You mean like industry plants and stuff like that?
Well, I'm just saying like, like
Drake, I mean...
Fucking Drake.
I don't know. Kind of just threw him in there to acting in the music. And
Well, I mean, is Drake smart because he realized it's about perception, or is Drake bad because he's just kind of mids? I don't know.
Yes.
Yes to everything.
To both of those things.
I mean, everything is marketing now. I think that's what ruins the soul of art. I think that's what ruins like even like something as beautiful as this. Like I reached out to you guys. I was like, hey, I'd like to be on your show because you guys look like you're having fun and you're from the neighborhood.
Yes.
Essentially, you're from Fort Worth, and it's like we all have this idea of like little big town, and so. That stuff is beautiful, and if we focus on our immediate community, the people we can tangibly touch and smell and be weird with, like that's so much more enterprising than take over the world, collect your stacks. Like this whole mindset is like, it's like counterproductive, I think, towards real community building.
I think it goes back to that DIY aspect, right? Kind of like, sure. Like we're over here. We don't have huge backers or anything like that. We're just over here trying to do.
I mean, we don't pimp ourselves out to anybody, or we don't try
to for yourself, bitch.
I mean,
we're trying to do our own thing, and occasionally he's trying to make some money. Right?
Get blitzed. Yeah. This episode brought to you by Get Blitzed. I'm just joking.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's something to that. I think that we all need to get paid. I think that there's a lot of money out there. I think that there's a lot of, but it's like how people choose to distribute their credits is all based on the mind control of this like idea that I'm going to be viral.
Yeah. I'm
going to go viral and it's going to be amazing. Like I have some, I have some athletes that work with us at the Matt War Project, the Matt War Pro Wrestling Project, that have had multiple 3 million, 2 million. We did an angle a year and a half ago at Panther City Vinyl where we had one of our managers who I broke into the wrestling business with, Alex Rivera. Hello, Alex. I love you. He and I met through the hardcore scene. He was playing in a hardcore band called Burnside in New Jersey, which was a big, huge hate breed opened up for them when they still had a cassette.
Yeah.
Wow.
That kind of length of time ago. So when I moved out there to go to wrestling school, segue story, but it'll come back together, hopefully. I moved out there. I was trying to find work. I met this guy who had played in a band with him. He recognized my band shirt. It was kind of like underground at the time. So I was like, oh, you get the vibe? He's like, yeah, you should talk to my friend Alex. He loves wrestling. I'm like, okay. Went to his tattoo shop. Hey, how's it going? You like wrestling? He said, yeah. Do you want to come to my friend's house and watch Monday Night Raw? And I was like, I would like to. I have no friends. And, I don't know anybody here.
Yes, please. I would like that. Yeah. Very much.
25 years later, we're still thick as thieves. He's moved out here with his family. He's a tattoo artist, has a shop in Waco.
Oh, that's cool.
But so Alex came up. So he's been in the wrestling business that whole time, on and off for the last 25 years. So he and I have had this close bond with another friend of ours we broke in with. Alex came and we did a spot at a record store where he has his character, Tiger Bruno, who plays music, which he does in real life, and he has a band and he has beautiful songs. And so it's like one part life imitating art, imitating wrestling, imitating, it's like all these things. We had a big fight in the middle of the thing. One guy gets busted open, that night the phone's like vibrating. It's like 1 million+ views. Everybody's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But what does that mean? I know that there were 30 people on Magnolia Avenue that were very interested and very shocked and very excited, and people were watching, and there was a lot of communication. But online it was, holy shit, he just got hit with that can. Hold on. And I mean, what does it mean? I'm just curious.
I mean, I see where like it brings some exposure, right? So maybe you introduce this to somebody that might not have normally come across it, right?
Sure.
But the same reason we all started watching wrestling in, the late 90s or whatever is because it was on TV. Well, if it wasn't on TV, I don't know if I would have ever gotten into it.
And also the thing, too, with that, like, we would always talk about, like, man, did you watch Raw last night? Did you watch SmackDown? Like, did you watch Nitro? Like, it was always, like, you had to.
There's no water cooler genuine conduit that's, like, for everybody anymore.
Yeah.
Which is...
I get that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, but it also makes even the most simpler people, not to say that some people are just operating at a higher level of intensity mentally than some other people, not smarter, just Some people like to talk. Some people
Right.
love ideas. Some people. I think that kind of spreads us apart too, because there was something kind of calming to know that there might be something that everybody had access to kind of have now it's like, Huak Ta girl. Oh,
Yeah.
you're fucking on that train? Yeah. Yeah. You got the t-shirt, and then within a week it's done. And then you're like, oh.
It's like that short form content, right? Is that what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is?
yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's
yeah.
just the instant gratification of watching something, and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta forward that, and like, you see that video? Like, it's kind of like,
That's been it's been detrimental towards like YouTubers and stuff like that, because you've got that short form media. You don't want to watch that long, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour or whatever. You want, tell me what it is, let me see it so I can move on.
Yeah.
And
So
we've kind of trained our brains to be in that mentality.
I'm kind of caught between two. Okay, this is a good one. I'm kind of caught between two worlds on that, because I see a lot of motherfuckers who would lay their big ass on the couch for fucking 75 hours watching Netflix to the point where it's like, are you still watching?
yeah.
Of course I am. And you're back on like, so this is like, I don't know, like a never ending Slurpee machine. Just like,
Yeah.
and then I get home and I'm like, okay, no more Slurpee. And now I'm going to watch something long form, but
Sure.
we've swapped the delivery devices.
yeah.
So this is way more tangible and easy.
It's a quicker drug, this one.
Yeah.
This was just like,
This
Yeah,
one
I
being
get
the
my-
phone
I
get
for
my
those
fix
on the
real quick,
podcast.
yeah.
instant fix,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, I don't know, like, but so for people that prefer podcasting or like listening, like I'm auditory, so I like to listen to people talk more so than I would like to watch. Like, I don't know if I'd watch myself on this, but I would listen to everybody
Yeah.
talk.
Right.
I enjoy that because I can multitask.
Yeah.
It's like kind of friendly. I think that's like the beautiful thing of the podcast scene. And people who actually do talk and connect and stand out. But I do think like a lot of the stuff online is just for the sake of the algorithm, and fuck that.
So how do you
I
take
don't give a fuck about the algorithm. I don't give a fuck. Can the algorithm hear me?
how do you take this? How do you take Matt War?
Uh-huh.
How do you take Matt War though,
Mm-hmm.
and get it to the masses? Like how do you grow this, right?
Well, so depending on who you speak to and what you do, we were talking about schools earlier. A lot of people in this business of, black box theater or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'm a defender of pro wrestling till the end. I believe in the art. I believe in the storytelling. I believe in its moralistic aspects. I believe like what we're trying to do is we're trying to do an old show, very simple, old in concept, heavy storytelling, promote the stars, make people matter, and then give it some modern tastes and flash. Because I at the end of the day, that's as with everything, like there's a lot of wrestling on TV right now. There's more wrestling on TV than there ever has been. There are more trained, amazing athletes than have ever been on the earth at one time doing the same thing than there ever has been. 80s boom, the late 90s. There's more people now that are really good and can go. But with that, there's only so much platform and there's only so much story you can tell in that same fashion. Sure. So that's kind of like where we're at right now. Like AEW has a residency in Arlington right now. They're about to do a pay-per-view opposite my show on Friday, which we didn't know at the time when we're booking, because we book things out 6 months at a time just to
Right.
keep everything moving. But they have so much top talent, and I have friends that work up there. There's a lot going on, but it's so much to take in. It's hard to feel connected to any of it. And I think that's where a lot of people sit. Like, I think there's like too much choice in the world. There's definitely a lot of choice in wrestling. That's why for me, I'm not looking, going back to what you were saying, Tim, like I'm not looking to take this over globally, but if I can tell a story that matters to Fort Worth, we're fucking the 11th largest city in the United States that doesn't have a professional sports franchise, that is still, enamored by local flavor and slow living. If we're going to hold on to that, Matty Parker, Do you hear me? Are we doing that? Yeah. So like I see you. You see me. So I think that like for me, it's more important that, like our dream is that we have 15,000 people at the Air Hog Stadium that are from here, that are like, oh my God, these people are from here. This is our wrestling. And we can pepper in and we can create the world that caters to them. And is also true to us and it's true to the art, and not looking out as everybody is right now at like, what's the next big thing globally? Because I mean, honestly, most people's idea of having an open mind and global are still very myopic. I mean, compared to how the world, like your friend just came back from Egypt. Mm-hmm. Their day-to-day in Egypt was completely different than...
Oh, for sure, yeah. Completely different.
Yeah, so, and that's just a small little glimpse into another world that I think a lot of people, especially here in Western society, where we're like, we've been trained to consume. We're, we're trained to consume entertainment and media to take us away from our lives because, and it's like, wow. Like, it better be good.
Yeah. But like you said, that there's so much wrestling out there. I think back in the day, we didn't really have too much access to that. I think like
For
now
sure.
you have your AAA Mexican, you have your New Japan, you have AEW, and you have WWE, and you got, what's the other one?
TNA wrestling. You have Game Changer wrestling. You have, and every city has their own home promotion, and some of them really knock it out of the park. I think for me, it's like, we know how to do a good wrestling show. We know how to tell the stories. I'm very, with us being cinematographers and dealing with that aspect of the business, the promos, the storytelling, the production of an angle. That's what sets us apart for what we do. And that's why we were just like, man, could we do a local show that mattered?
I mean, what do you think?
Outside of trying to just, get work for people that pay me to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
It's a different motivation. But.
Do you think like the story and the promos that are cut are like 90% of what makes it successful, and the wrestling itself is just like, the wrestling is gonna be there if you get the talent. But do you think everything's mainly story based and like your promos? If you cut a good promo, then
I think you're a lot more forgiving of someone who maybe isn't as athletically gifted if they're able to compel you to believe in what they do.
Yeah. Because did you watch the Iron Claw?
Yes.
So like there's a part where he's like trying to cut a promo and he's like messing up, and some people just don't have that. Like they're great wrestlers, but they just sometimes can't let it all out. Like Emmitt Smith was a great running back, but you can't put him on TV because he's not really good at talking or announcing or calling plays.
Yeah, that's kind of like the there's a spot for you, but there's very limited spots if you can't do everything. Mm-hmm. I think that's the bigger issue, and that's the part that how do I say it? That's the part that when you have to be, everybody needs a good producer, right?
Right.
You guys started this episode 15. One of you said, man, you got to speak up a little bit more.
Right.
Or we got to have a little bit more banter. Somebody's always, and when you have that trust and you have a track record of doing right and doing things, I think that everybody needs to be produced. And I think that some talents, for whatever reason, it's such a, wrestling is different than other things like acting in a sense, where you are believing part of it, and part of it is you, because that's what, it's hard. It's painful. It's hard. It's painful. It's an exchange. It's like, it's safety. You're trusting everybody. Yeah. There's, so it's a different level, but I think if you're willing to be produced, some people can get over that. Yeah. I know some amazing pro wrestlers that can cut an amazing promo that have a stutter in real life.
Right.
So on the group chat real quick, Dante Smiley says it takes the artist to not oversaturate themselves to bring value to where they do work by getting all around. Oversaturation in an area is a reason many athletes don't get as big as they could.
100%. Dante Smiley is somebody who I'm super proud to promote. He's someone here locally who tons of mutual respect. And for me, I'm kind of this show and what we do here in Fort Worth, I'm kind of like the staunchly independent kind of outlier. Like, ooh, because it's a bigger process to be able to create a world and create talent and actually put them first. Since this is subjective, there's a lot of people who would like to make themselves the star of the show at other people's expense, but that's not what people are paying for.
Yeah.
People are paying to be entertained. They're paying for a story. They're paying for action. Dante travels the world doing this, and he chooses his shots. We've talked about this privately, and once again, now everything in the digital age is a paywall. Hi, I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm a professional. And if you'd like to get on my, weekend Skype call for $100, I'll teach you too the secrets on how. No.
I hear it every day. I hear it every day on the radio when it's like sleeper picks tonight for tonight's NFL game. And you do it, and it's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, no, like part of the exploration in life and part of the exploration in your art or your business or the storytelling, whatever it is. That's where I can get real deep on wrestling. So let me get all like that. You have to choose wisely. There's a stage when you're first doing it that you're, it's like when you first turn 21 and you're single and you're going out, you're just.
Where can I get it?
Yeah, how can I show the world who I am? Like everybody's open.
I just got waxed. I got it.
Everybody needs to see me.
Yeah, everybody needs to. Yeah, I want to taste it all. I want to try it all. I want to experience everything. And then at a certain point, when you start to get it, you then have to. Okay, well now I need to be working with other people who are working as hard as I am. Mm-hmm. That's when it changes for you. Now you're like, okay, well now I need to be working with people who take this as seriously as I do because it's dangerous. It's a money commitment. It's a time commitment.
So we have a question also in the chat.
Okay.
What role does music play in wrestling, and is it important?
100%.
Yeah, I feel like your walkout song, like whatever your theme song, that makes it.
Set the tone.
That sets the tone for who you are, your persona.
And it's funny because at our show, our formatting and the way that we've conceived the Matt War product is completely anti that.
Really?
Okay. And I'm a music person, as we were just talking about. Like, no, that part plays a part, but I'm also playing with mood. I'm playing with the temperature of the room. I'm playing with the complete package. It's a holistic experience because I think that's what's missing from a lot of, we were talking about the Live Nation of everything.
Sure.
Very few rooms anymore have a soul. You were saying, the Haltom Theater. We went there and it was a great time. It's older and it's brought back the vibes.
Yeah, it's got that DIY feel still, but a little bit more refined, but not.
Yeah. So there's so some of the ambiance that we're missing. It's kind of like, for a kid today, they don't know what it's like to go to a concert without going through wands and going through a detector and wearing a clear bag over their shoulder. They didn't ever. I mean, I can remember being a kid and going to the first Lollapalooza, and it was just like,
you're just there.
You were just there. You know what I mean? You were just there, and the trash cans are on fire by about 9:30 at night, and people are dancing around it, and this person's got Anyway, it was just a different kind of experience. So I believe the experience is a big part of it. I believe that the music does play a part, but what we're trying to do is there's a lot of Pavlovian response with the repetition of wrestling being a constant. Like if you watch Monday Night Raw when you were in 1998 and you were like, fuck, I'm shaving my head, I'm stone cold this weekend.
I'm walking like the...
Yeah, I'm fucking, nobody could tell me shit at fucking KFC, motherfucker, you're not my boss, like you did all that. Well, if you just flicked on the TV 15 years later, that show and the presentation and every arena looks the same.
Yeah.
The staging is the same.
Yeah.
The lights are the same. The colors are the same.
So let's talk about that then. So how often do y'all have a Matt War fight?
We're doing fights every 60 days. I feel like that's what the market, with all the other promotions coming, and everybody loves them some Texas right now.
Yeah.
Everybody so that's what, with AEW and their residency, WWE, if there wasn't a market for wrestling, they wouldn't come here 3 times a year, 4 times a year. They wouldn't do WrestleMania 5 years apart or 4 years apart at Jerry World. We do it every 60 days. I feel like that's a good, it's almost like too long, but it's almost too short. Yeah.
And how many wrestlers do you have regularly?
There's probably, between all the talent contracted, I have between 20 and 25 that I work with pretty solidly. But I'm very I don't want to say I'm discriminating, but I definitely feel like our show is a place for the people who are the top of their game in the state of Texas. And for whatever reason, sure, if you're playing in the XFL, you might want to also play in the NFL. But I kind of look at wrestling more like hockey, where the B League is less regulated, the American Hockey League, but all those players are the first that they call in the middle of the playoffs when you need somebody. Okay, well, I'm going to bring this person up, and they're going to play in the big league, and we're going to see how they work. So I kind of am pretty selective. Like, you can have, you don't have to be a super vet, and you don't have to be have all the pieces, but you have to have something that makes you special.
Right.
For me to want to work with you. That's kind of how I view it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why our shows are fairly well attended. That's why our shows are, we have a great audience from 18 years old to 75 years old. Like, I've attracted some fans that saw Buddy Rogers in 1959 come to Fort Worth, and he was there for his bar mitzvah. And he's like, and Buddy Rogers was the world's champion at that time. And that's a beautiful time for wrestling. And so he's seen every single amazing iteration of the art come through here in the last 65 years.
Yeah.
And he comes to my show and is like, "You're the only show that seems like wrestling." Like, to me, that's like, oh my gosh.
You think everything now is just overly produced? It's like just.
I think that there's, like, once again, I don't have students. I don't have any other thing except for this show, the world we're creating, and what I can offer the talent and what the talent can offer me. I believe, I tell everybody there's 4 different scenarios. Like, you can use me and I can use you, but I'm never going to use you. I'm never going to use you more than what you use me for. So we can use each other, and it can be a symbiotic relationship, and that's fine. But you won't take advantage of me, because I'm never going to take advantage of you. Gotcha. So those 2 things are off the table. A, I've been doing it too long. B, I know too much. B, our crew and the people I have surrounded us with this project are too valuable to the ecosystem. And that's, honestly, that's why I'm never a person who wants to be on camera. I'm never, and I'm a big personality, and if you talk to me, you'd probably be like, "Jason, shut the fuck up. Please stop fucking talking like I'm talking right now. I'll just go." However, being in a place, and especially having the humility of, like, my job is to promote people. Mm-hmm. So how would I want to take away from the people I'm promoting?
Right.
Like, and I think that that's where this whole thing is kind of like, it's subjective, and, I think it's too hard to work on the show. It would be too hard to, anyway, I'm not a person who likes to brag about himself. I've been doing a lot of stuff, as I said, forever. It's like a DIY type of thing, but the world needs to know about the system around this. And it's funny because I've been telling video clients this since 2010. I've done a lot of work with my partner, Derek Abramson. He's been kind of like he and I are like the brainchild of the Matt War Project. And we started off in wrestling together, and then we moved on to doing videography work together, because we were like, well, we can make a lot of money doing educational and internal facing videos for corporations rather than our passion play. So wrestling has always been kind of like in the passion bucket, like, oh, let's do this for this person. And you find somebody who's worthy of it and worthy of the time. And, like, let's spin your perception a little bit differently. Let's tweak how the world sees you and consumes you to tell your story better. And I've been telling businesses that forever, like, hey, nobody cares. Like, I've done a lot of work for a bearing company. Nobody really cares what a ceramic ball bearing is, but they certainly care when it's in a 10,000 year clock built into the side of a mountain that's supposed to be here past the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And the bearings are the size of this fucking table. Well, people care about that shit. Yeah. They care about that. So let's tell that story. And as a byproduct of that story, you are the innards.
Right.
You make that thing. So for us, the kind of like the package of who's producing it and why we're producing it and how we're doing it and what we're doing with the talent and how we're raising them and elevating them and how we're telling stories. We're a year and a half into an angle that still hasn't completely been told. That in the wrestling business in general is, once again, you have 895 talents underneath you and everybody's got to have TV time and people get hurt. Now it's just matches for matches. Mm-hmm. Well, if it's not a shoot, then matches for matches are kind of, they can be interesting. I mean, but to me, they're kind of like, eh.
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed the whenever I was a child watching, Sunday morning, you get up in the morning and watch WWF wrestling, whatever was aired. I guess it was the night, but I can't remember how they aired it, but that's whenever I got to watch it.
Yeah, they would show whatever happened like in Raw.
And so I'm watching this and I'm getting the stories, and we're talking, late 80s, early 90s, and I'm like enthralled. I'm like, oh my gosh, so-and-so did this. I can't believe that happened. And that whole story concept.
Story is everything.
But now I seem, whenever I flip on wrestling, it just, and I'm sure, everything's a little bit different, but like I don't know any of the stories now, and it seems like everybody's got their hand in everything, and there's something going on constantly, and it's hard to keep up with cohesiveness.
It's kind of like, when your favorite restaurant expands and then they franchise, and then the original cook moves to another location, and then all of a sudden everything is just different.
Yeah.
And it never comes back. It's kind of the same, but it never comes back. Yeah. It's just kind of different now.
So what can you tell us about the event on Friday? Like, what can you...
Friday is our second Ultraviolet Dreamers Hyperthermania. It's going to be an amazing show. We have a Texas title that we've created that we had come up for grabs last year at Martin House Brewing. Shout out to Martin House, one of our OG sponsors. They've been with us since the beginning. They did a beer for us last year called Body Slammer.
That's cool.
Yeah, they've been huge in the project and huge in believing in what we have to do. And I think it's just it's another situation like this, like good people being excited about things that other good people are excited about. Like for me, this is a community building project. I say that the Matt War, I bring the entertainment and I take that very seriously, so that all of our businesses can actually have a mutual exchange. I'm not trying to take the last $300 that my brother-in-law's plumbing company can offer for the idea that he might get somebody to come out. When we're producing 5,000 people at a show, then we can offer it up to the local businesses like that. But right now it's like other thriving businesses who believe in the community, who believe in what Fort Worth can do, have really gotten behind us. So, those aspects of it, make all the hard work matter.
It looks like it's going to be in a cool place too. Southside Preservation Hall.
Have you ever been to the Southside?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Southside Hall is like, we're talking about having those buildings that have ghosts. Having those buildings that have, and Matt Hillier, 1100 Springs, now in his own, he comes out to our shows and, first thing he said, he was like, oh my God, I've been to a funeral here. I've been to a wedding here. And now I've seen wrestling here and I've fucking played here. And you're like, you've done everything here now. Yeah. Now we've done it all.
That's cool. I didn't know Matt comes to the shows, man.
He, one of the top wrestlers that we've been promoting over the last year and a half, Damo McCullough. He's a big old cowboy from North Texas. And, he's a big old Texan, and he's got a lot of great crowd appeal, and he's been working his ass off. He's a accomplished world power lifter, holding records. He's in a big feud right now with Brick Savage, who's another person who transitioned from powerlifting. He's actually a second-generation wrestler himself. His father was a wrestler, but the world breaker Brick Savage, or Rob Hall as he was known in powerlifting. So our big cowboy, Damon McCullough, he's been coming out to shows. He comes out to 1100 Springs.
That's
so
cool.
Matt was like, just kind of like the world's crossed.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Those are times where the internet, in its location, in its locale, work out perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's not someone in Ogden, Utah going, I wish I could go see that.
So I'm looking at this.
I'm going to like this photo.
Door opens at 7, bell rings at 8, match is on.
Match is on, 8 o'clock sharp. We have Trinity River Heritage Championship. That's what I was saying earlier. We debuted that title at Martin House at our Triple on the Trinity events that we do every year. And so we have got a big, huge title match on the top of the card. Izzy James, he's been working. He's probably in his 14th or 15th year. Still a young guy, though. Been working Texas. He's phenomenal talent. He's taken on Dante Leon. Dante's had a ton of great reception in Japan over the last 2 years. Coming back from here, he's a Texas boy.
That's awesome.
And Dante's the current champion right now, right?
Dante's our
Okay.
current champion right now, yeah. And so he successfully defended that title quite a few times in Canada, a few times in Texas, Chicago, come out on top all those. So he has a big match for himself coming up this Friday. The and the rest of the card is great. I mean, once again, Angel Camacho, 486 pounds.
Oh wow.
Puerto Rican juggernaut. He's amazing. The things that he does is pretty amazing. He's taken on Dmitry Alexandrov, Russia's. He's a Russian he's Vladimir. What's he say? Vladimir Putin's most hated wrestler. I don't know. Yeah, he's like fuck Putin. But Dimitri's amazing too. He's a beast. So Brick Savage, Hilda Lamunica. There's a lot. If you're on our Instagram and our YouTube are probably our two strongest suits on there. But you can see we have a lot of different pieces of the story that we've been documenting, and the way that we go about it is kind of multi-layered. It's just different. It might not look kind of like traditional wrestling from the first glance, but upon entry, and for me, it's about the live experience.
Right.
I don't even show a lot of the wrestling online, because there is so much of it.
Yeah.
I give little bits, but I really want people to come out and experience it, because it's one of those things that's best done live.
Yeah, here's a taste, but if you want the real goods, then
especially
on.
until we get to the point where that's no longer feasible.
I think
and it's opened up.
Chad and I were talking about stopping in and checking that out possibly. So
Can we still get tickets, or is it sold out?
You can still get tickets.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as we'll know here. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hall is awesome. It's even at capacity, we're still only looking at 300 people in there.
Yeah.
So the room is it's perfect. It's perfect setting. The shows there are awesome. We've had a lot of great experience, especially in that area with the Dickey Skate Park there right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and the hall needs a lot of love. It needs people to use it.
Yeah.
Now that it's functioning again and it's open for rental, the people up there have been amazing. I totally enjoy helping them with their pursuits of showing an environment that people should be renting and utilizing, and it's a community space, and it's important. It's important for the city.
It's beautiful.
And if we don't use them, they die.
Well, it has multiple like small venues within it. That you got the smaller place where you saw Joe Patnev.
Yeah.
And then
the chapel.
I went to I went to a hardcore show there, put on by Fort Worth Hardcore, and it was in the big the big auditorium space, and it's such.
Shout out to Ty! What's up, Ty? Yeah, I helped Ty with that show, because once again that was that's my youth. The hardcore scene is where I cut my teeth and everything, and I'm still at 50 years old. I'm still aware and listening and consuming, just my personality type. So that was important to me, that there's a little bit of not to put myself over in that statement. I'm just saying that's important, because that scene needs bigger venues to be able to do that in.
It was great. Like you had plenty of room for activities and running and side to side and just tearing into people. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's all those parts of any thriving community and scene are, and that's my little.
Which, if those don't know, let me before because we're wrapping up here, but I just want to get in and just say, like, if you don't know that Fort Worth has a hardcore scene, we have a hardcore scene, and it's got some of the best people you'll ever come across that will fuck you up in a pit, but it's out of love. And everybody is so supportive in that community, and I feel like in the wrestling side of things, it seems like your community that you've built here is that same type of
That's the vibe that I'm trying to build with anybody who comes on, and we've attracted a lot of people from outside the business who are interested, not even necessarily on the wrestling, but interested in the community aspects, interested in how this operation is pulled off. how it all comes together, having something other than music.
Yeah, like the production aspect's got to be,
Yeah,
it's
having
different
something
than music, and it's got to be
having something that
interesting.
kind of vibes, but at the same time is a different form of entertainment for the weekend.
All right,
yeah.
so where can we find you? Where can we find all this stuff? You hit it on
We
Instagram.
are at Matt War Pro Wrestling on all the handles except for X, where we are Matt War Pro.
Okay. And
yeah,
it's
so
MAT.
MATWARPROWRESTLING.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So
So
Matt
follow
War
us on
Pro.
Instagram. Tell us why you'd like to come out. If anybody's watching and they've never been to a wrestling show before, hit us up in the DMs and let us know, hey, I've never been before. I'd like to come. And we'll roll out the carpet for you.
And then how much are tickets for this Friday show?
Tickets for this Friday are $25 for general admission and $30 for our Panther City Pride, which are front row. And
Okay.
that's just a little bit to
That's a great price right
Yeah,
there.
there
That's
you
a
go.
really
shout
good
out
price.
give a shout out to all the people. Yeah, and Martin House Brewing, they provide free beer while supplies last for everybody who's 21 and over at the event. We have Starry Ice Cream, handmade ice cream here in Fort Worth. It's delicious. The Kelly's Onion Burgers will be out there grilling up onion burgers.
Hell yeah,
The
that's
line
awesome.
usually starts
I'm
before
sold,
the show
you know?
starts.
I'm gonna,
and,
it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get on there, buy tickets tonight, and
it's gonna be awesome.
Jesse has no idea that we're gonna go see wrestling.
And people can spend their entire weekend over at the South Side.
Then you're
Preservation Hall.
near South Side. Yeah, there's stuff going on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturdays it's Ernie Day, so
Ernie
he's
Day
going to be at
Sunday.
the same spot on Saturday on the 27th, and then of course Matt War Pro on Friday the 26th. So make it out. Anything else you want to plug
It's
before you
good.
close out?
I'd like to, I don't know, shout out to my wife, Jessica. Supports me forever. I'm a handful. Her coffee company, Ascension Coffee, they're amazing. So shout out to them. Shout out to all the wrestlers who come out and show out for me. Damon McCullough, Brick Savage, Angel Camacho. I mean, I could go through. I could stay here for another 20 minutes while the music's going. But yeah, everybody in the city and everybody, all the people at Cowtown Coliseum who show us so much love. We're very fortunate. So
Awesome.
y'all,
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
we appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on, man.
yeah, we
It's been a
appreciate
good time.
appreciate you having me.
And if you don't already do so, please make sure you follow the Funky Panther on all things social media as well. You can find anything at thefunkypanther.com. Leave us a call, text 817-677-0408. Stay good, everybody. I'm Chad.
I'm Javier.
I'm Jason.
I'm Tim.
And we are.
the
Funky Panther.
Bye.
Get playing.
Thanks, y'all.